Your time 8:42 this morning. The Omicron variant is spreading around the world and the United States. And Colorado was one of the first states to identify a case. We're sure a lot of you have a lot of questions about it. So joining us now is 9 Health expert Dr. Payal Kohli to walk us through some of these questions. Good morning.
Good morning, Eddie.
All right, Omicron, huge story, huge topic. What do we know about it so far?
There are a few things we have learned about it, even from the preliminary data coming in. The first is that it appears to be more transmissible than Delta. Let me stop there for a second, because this is a big deal. Delta was already as contagious as chickenpox, and this appears to be spreading more efficiently than Delta, which means that it has a much greater potential for exponential growth. Remember that word? Every person can infect many more people, so we think it'll likely spread much faster. The second is that community spread is occurring. What that means is that you don't actually have to go to South Africa to get Omicron, but it's occurring from person to person, even people that have not traveled. Again, a sign of a contagious virus. And the third is that so far the cases we've seen have been reasonably mild, thankfully.
All right, so let's talk about vaccines a little bit with Omicron. I am fine saying that I've been vaccinated. I've also been boosted. So does being vaccinated protect you against Omicron?
It does to some extent, we think. In other words, it'll protect you against probably severe illness, but it does not protect you from infection. In fact, what we're seeing is that 23% of cases of Omicron cases are occurring in people who've been vaccinated or vaccinated and boosted. And that's a pretty big deal, because it suggests that the virus may have immune escape. It may have learned how to escape our immune system. So you may ask me then, well, why get vaccinated, right? It's still going to keep you out of the hospital is what we think.
So a big question is whether available tests will still work to detect Omicron. So how are these tests performing right now?
Yeah, once the virus changes, then the tests that we use to detect the virus kind of also have to adapt in order to keep up. So what we're seeing so far is that the PCR tests appear to be working quite well. They're still probably going to hold up with the Omicron variant. We're still looking at data, and the FDA is looking at this data on the rapid tests, which, as you know, we've been relying on more and more to decide whether we're infected, whether we can go to gatherings, whether we can travel. But I would love to see more information on whether those are still holding up to diagnose Omicron accurately.
So what about those therapies? Like, would those still hold up against Omicron?
Yeah, so we've had some new therapies come out. The antibody therapies, for example, that actually we think may need an upgrade, because a lot of the antibody therapies target that spike protein, which is, where the mutations have occurred in the Omicron variant. On the other hand, the antiviral therapies that target viral replication actually work in the nucleus of the virus, where the virus is dividing itself. And we've not seen that many mutations occur there with Omicron, so we think that that one might still work.
I know we're hearing don't panic, but I'm sure this is very helpful for so many of our viewers. They want to know more about Omicron. So Dr. Kohli, thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
All right.